Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, September 19th, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we are still in an uptrend. Take a look at trend gauge over here. We have the four coveted green arrows, and this is what you see when the market is in a risk on period. Leaders acting good, trending above the 21 EMA, trending above the 50 and 200-day simple moving average. And that is our trend gauge for how we decipher if it's a market that we want to be exposed in or a market that we don't want to be exposed in. But for now, four green arrows, that is good action. What happened today? Another strong day in the markets, falling through from FOMC on Wednesday, and a new weekly all-time high closes for all the indexes. And that certainly is not bearish, folks. Final numbers 21 over 21 list up 1.47%, 16 green, 5 red. Turbo 12 up 1.9%, 9 green, 3 red. Big 8 up 1.26%, RG8 up about 10 basis points. S&P up about 0.5%. Equate down 0.21%. Qs up about 0.68%. Equate up 0.04%. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.34%. Mid caps down 0.76%. Russ 2000 down 0.78%. 60/40 global stock and bond up 0.11%. Flagship portfolio GROTECTION up 0.49%, and TurboTection up 0.83% on the day. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. And another new weekly all-time high close for the S&P 500. Ride the wave. The market continues to be in an uptrend with great action in leading stocks, and again, printing another new all-time high. So perhaps 6,700 is the next big spot to watch heading into next week. But again, not a whole lot to comment other than ride the wave. You got your key short-term moving average, 8 EMA, 2150. And then, 6,500 is a big spot. So all levels to watch if the market were to pull back. RSP looking poised to break out of this big base, just consolidating below this 190 pivot. Again, we've harped on this, but if RSP breaks out, that should only broaden the strength of the market. QQQ printing another new all-time high, close right under 600, and another new weekly all-time high close. Good action there. Mag 7, big tech was quite strong today. Apple was popping back up. Google new highs, and Mag 7 another new high as well. Dow Jones Industrial Average, another one with a weekly all-time high close, less extended than some of the other indexes. But when you have the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and small caps all working, that is a pretty bullish combination. Mid caps consolidating right below this about 3,300 pivot. So again, if this breaks out above, that should bring more strength into the market. Russ 2000 just pulling back pretty normal, rejecting this 2466 spot, which is, big move up. A high handle flag here would be constructive. I did a big segment on small caps on the podcast today, so I went more into depth on why the evidence says that IWM has potentially a lot of room higher, and you can see that it's pretty clear on the weekly chart, 4-year base, still below 2021 highs, this monthly base. And one thing I talked about is going all the way back to 1991. What is the character of this chart? Well, when this breaks out, when this has big monthly breakouts from multi-year bases, it leads to big moves. And I can just draw these out for you. This one kind of fouled, but then again, set back up, big move. Big base breakout, big move. Another base breakout, big move. Base breakout, big move. And what do we have here? Another big base, 4-year base breakout in motion. So see if this can continue. ARC, another good risk on proxy, a little bit extended, but broke out of this flat base quite nicely. FFTY leaders continue to trend higher. And again, for the IBD 50 index, still below 2021 highs. So got to think a lot of these stocks aren't working as well as you'd think. The VIX, anything below 16 to 18 is good for the market. The dollar potentially trying to put in an undercut and reclaim of these lows, something to monitor, but it is in a downtrend, as you can see. But again, maybe this downtrend line break, maybe this starts to bottom out here. Gold routine bounce off the 8 EMA, GDX exploding higher again. Just this chart just shows that winners tend to keep winning, and this is what you see here. Just really in a frozen rope uptrend after breaking out of this pretty clean flat base. Silver looking to break out as well. Bitcoin relative weakness sitting right at the 50-day, just still really can't get moving. There's been better opportunities elsewhere. Vanguard total bond market trying to bounce back after 2 sharp days of selling. TLT as well, just trying to hold the 21 EMA, and then rates coming 3 days up. So we'll see TNX, similar thing here, strong 3-day rally. Alrighty, that's the interasset correlation. Let's get into the tail of the tape, and we'll start with percent of stocks by the 5-day moving average at 56 right now. So historically speaking, there is still room to run. News-wise, just small caps continue to lead post FOMC rally. Nothing huge on the news front today. Today's keys, S&P versus the 21 EMA and all-time highs, 2 green arrows there. Qs versus 21 EMA and all-time highs, 2 green arrows there. And then Russell 2000 versus the 8 EMA and all-time highs, 2 green arrows there as well. Day count, breakout day 8, 12 days above the 8 EMA, 13 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors-wise, uranium, that whole nuclear uranium energy complex is just unbelievably strong. REMX, rare earth minerals up again today, software as well. Weakness, oil services, Bitcoin, builders, biotech, and big banks. So some of the more rate sensitive sectors pulling back a little bit today. It's pretty normal. IWM was down today after showing great and still is showing great outperformance the last month, 2 months. Trades today. GROTECTION bought a position in CoreWeave and TNA and then added on to Palantir. RVAB 1.57, balance at risk minus 7.05%. TurboTaxon just took an offensive trim in LEU, and that is, like I mentioned, one of the names in the nuclear enrichment energy group starting to go accelerate to the upside. That brought our RVAB to 2.40 with minus 6.44% balance at risk. Bottom line, new weekly all-time high closes for the indexes, and that is not bearish. Let's get into some charts of interest. All right, start with flagship portfolio GROTECTION trades today. Bought position CoreWeave, we own this in TurboTaxon, but again, starting to break out of this tight pivot. And one similarity is this pattern right here looks awfully similar down here to this, low cheat and this IPO base, multiple wicks holding support and then broke out. This tried to break out above 125, still closed day relatively strong, up 2.86%. But again, this chart looks good, continuing to hold the high volume close. Protection also added a starter in TNA on this pullback, and then also added to Palantir, another day 2 higher high coming out of this nice little base formation. So good action on Palantir. Then TurboTaxon took an offensive trim in LEU and great stock. We traded this a couple times earlier this year and kind of sold when it broke 50-day moving average and then rebought around tiers is coming out of this tight flag. And this is just follow through. This is what you want to see when you buy a stock. It just goes up quite fast, relative strength line new high. So sold a little bit of this and then we'll raise the stop, and if it keeps going higher, trim more into strength and look to hold for the big move. But again, really good action there. Can't ask for much more. And then on the topic of these alternative energy stocks, I mean, look at Bloom Energy just continuing to go higher. Still have a position on this one in TurboTaxon, but really is starting to go a little bit parabolic, really breaching this upper trend line quite aggressively. But again, tons of volume. This one had that big catalyst with the Oracle. And then you got Oklo. I mean, this chart is literally off the charts. Just up 30% on the day. Just talk about a breakout. I mean, pretty insane move on this one. and the weekly chart, biggest weekly bar since inception, monthly. And then you got like other ones like sister stocks like NNE coming out of a big base here as well. SMR is another one that's again pretty big move here, back above 40. And then some other risk on sectors, right? You got quantum computing, IONQ, talk about a breakout, just 6 days up in a row. You got Rigetti, another one, big base breakout. You got QBTS, so another up 12% on the day. So a lot of strong moves in the market right now, especially some of these risk on sectors like quantum, like nuclear, uranium, all those things. So seeing some big moves across the board. Take a look, 21 over 21 list. Let's see. Oh, sorry. GDX continuing higher. SoFi printing another new high. Great trender on this one. APP just monster follow through since that S&P 500 inclusions continuing higher. Snowflake coming back, broke this down trend line, looks pretty good. Carvana in this cut base. Robinhood continuing higher as well. MongoDB undercut reclaim of the EMA. Tesla just flagging after this super explosive move through this breakout and now just kind of consolidating. Overall looks good. STX, we talked about these computer data storage stocks. They just continue to trend higher and be extremely strong. Arista Networks held the 21-day MP, nice follow through since breaking this uh, downtrend line. This is owned in both portfolios as well. Great weekly chart as well, right? By the first pullback to the 10-week moving average. We say that all the time, but it holds true, and that's an O'Neill principle. First Solar setting up in a really nice base. Let's see if this can break out. Let's take a look at TAN actually while we're here. And again, this sector ETF still looks quite nice. SC, 2 days up off the 21. Net, again, 2 days up off 21 as well. Take two, got a tight base here at the highs. NVIDIA setting up potential downtrend line break, holding back above all the moving averages in this kind of pennant. Again, but watch this relative strength line still below the 21-day. Valero continuing higher, and just nice to have an oil name in here to track if this group starts to get rotation. DoorDash just hanging out at the highs. Credo, just tight day, pulling back down 1.6%. Reddit undercut and reclaim of the 8 EMA and that 253 high still looks good, one of the leaders. And then A-Lab, another one similar to Reddit, undercut and reclaim of the 8 EMA and closed only down 2.65% on the day. So good action in that one as well. Turbo 12, Irene just continues higher. We own this in TurboTection as well. Super strong. IONQ covered this earlier, but again, strong fall through from the breakout. Bloom Energy owned in Turbo as well, continuing higher. Pan American Silver, one of the leading silver names, kind of starting to consolidate at the highs. Fund support at the rising 21-day. Temps AI owned this in Turbo as well, just consolidating below this 91.45. Had a strong move up, from the 70s and pausing at this high rate at this previous high. So see if potentially this consolidates out and then tries to break out. Unity continues higher. Really strong trend on this one that says big weekly base as well. Rocket Labs consolidating here at the 21. Wayfair setting up continuation flag at the highs. Carmen continuing higher. AAOI consolidating in this cut base. CRDO covered that one. METC, another one in this energy coal, broke out of this really nice base. And one thing is these earnings estimates moving forward are quite large. So that's something to watch moving forward. But this one's got a huge monthly pattern, right? This is just one where these highs going all the way back to 2017, finally living above 2017 highs. And really nice big picture setup on this stock. And it was just down slightly on the day. That is the Turbo 12 and the 21 over 21 list. But overall, super strong week in the markets. Indexes are hitting new weekly all-time high closes. That is not bearish whatsoever. And then the other thing we gauge the market strength on is what's the action, the leading stocks. They're acting extremely well. And in these periods, this how we approach it is you want to trim your extended names in strength, and then you look to rotate that capital into fresh new setups. And so many stocks just show that selling, everyone has different processes, but at Revere, we always try to hold a portion of the position and sell on weakness because we don't know how high a stock can go. And if you sell everything at once, it may work sometimes, but you're basically telling the market more by thinking it's the high. And B's perfect example, right? Sold some in strength and now just trailing these shorter term moving averages. And we have no idea how high these stocks can go. And that's why the power of just trailing even a small portion of the position for a bigger move can really add up. And if you study some of the biggest moves in history, in their strong runs, they always respect the moving averages. And that's the core principle for, letting your winners run and locking some gains in along the way. So there's no reason to be fearful right now as long as you're selling into strength, raising stops, and not and yeah, that's really what it comes down to. So that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereas.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at connorjbates_. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, you can always reach out. We're accepting new clients for GROTECTION and TurboTection. So always appreciate everyone for watching these videos. If you liked it, give it a like, comment, subscribe. And as always, we will see you guys next week.